Hey everyone, so today I'm going to make another video and I will be showing you how to build a simple yet powerful to-do list application using Django. So in this app what we are naturally doing, that is user can add new tasks, and if the task is completed they can mark it as complete, and they can also delete it, and we will means I will show it on the front end part. So let's dive right in it. We know how to create a Django project, and after creating the project and creating our app folder, we will make sure that everything is ready. And for creating the Django project, we will type the command, that is Django-admin start project, and to create the app folder we will write Django-admin start app, and then we will give the name of the app. So what we will do here, that is, let me show you the code, what we are normally doing. So first in the, as I have given the folder name, that is the project of my Django, that is assessment 1, and inside coming to this settings.py, I will import OS, I will import my app, and I will import the sys. And then here in the install app, I will make sure that my app module is declared here. And in the DRS temple, we will see that the templates file is mentioned, because inside the template we will write the HTML logic. Then in this models.py, what we are doing, we are defining the task structure using this Django models. What it normally does, that is, this line imports Django's models module, which provides the base classes for defining the models in Django. That is, in a gist, it represents the database structure. Here, this line number 3, the purpose of this line defines that we are creating a model class having a name task, and by inheriting from models.model, task becoming a Django model, that is allowing it to interact with the database. Here I have used the models field. Here the curve field indicate, okay, let me, this curve field, that is a character field, indicate that this field will store string data. And here another thing I have done, that is the status. Here the status represents a default value, that is false. What this status field is doing, that is, it's a boolean field which indicates that this field will store a boolean value, true or false, and default false sets the default value to false, which indicates that the task is incomplete when it is created. And another thing we are doing here, that is, we are defining this method. This is a str method, string method. This is a string representation of the model. This method returns a string representation. In this case, it returns the value of the task field. This is a very useful for displaying the task, because where the objects needs to be represented as a string, then we can use this string representation model. Then what we will do, we will come to this forms.py file. Inside this forms.py file, we will import the necessary module. So form dot models will import the tasks, because why we're importing the tasks? Because this will allow the form to be linked directly to the task data structure which I have defined in this models.py file. Here you can see that this class, you are using a task form, a class name we have given the task form. This class inherits from forms.model from, which is a special Django form which automatically creates field based on the model. That is, the purpose is specifically that is to design to create and update the instance of the task model. Inside it, we have using a meta class. That is, it is a nested class because inside the class we are using a class. It is used to configure the task form. You can see in line number 6, we have given the model equals to task. That is, we're specifying that this form is associated with the task model. This fields equal to task here, this line indicates that the list, the field from the task model that should be included in the form. That means it only includes the task field which corresponds to the task description. That is, whatever the task the user will give, it corresponds to that task description only. Then we are customizing the widget. It is here, it is used as a dictionary which allows us to customization of the form fields of the HTML output. Here you can see that task colon forms dot text input. This specifies that the task field should be rendered as a text input widget. And inside it we have given a attribute that is enter a new task, that is a placeholder which provides a hint to the user about what to enter in the field, that is improving the user experience. Next we will come to the views.py file. So what is there in views.py file? You can see in views.py file what we are doing here. We are just form, this line will be automatically there. Here we are importing the redirect and get underscore object underscore or underscore 404 module. So what is it is doing? Here the render module is used to render a template and return an HTTP response. Redirect is used to redirect the user to a different view or URL, and this module retrieves an object from the database. If it does not exist, it raises a 404 error. From dot module, we're importing the tags, that is this model representing the tags in the database. And from dot forms, we're importing the tags form because the form used for creating the new tags. So models.py is representing the tags in the database, and forms.for is used for creating new tags. Then in this index dot this function, that is in this index function, what we are taking the request. This line number 7 tells that it will fetch all the tags from the database, and this line indicates that it will initialize the form. If there is a post method, it will populate the form with the data. Then it will check whether it is equals to the post method, and simultaneously the form should be valid. If it is, then it saves the new task to the database and then redirects to the index view after saving. That is, again it comes here. And here we are returning the render, and inside this render we are passing the request, the template and the dictionary, that is a task and the form. So what is the main function we are doing? That is this view display all the tasks and handles the creation of the new tasks. It fetches all the task entries from the database and stores them in the tasks. And if the form is submitted via post, it will populate the form with the submitted data. If no data is present, it initializes an empty form. That is the main fundamental thing. It is logic is going here. And inside this complete underscore tasks, That is inside this function we're taking the request and the task ID. That is whichever ID the user will give as a complete. What it will do? First in this line number 17, it fetches the task by ID or return a 404 error. If the status is true, it will mark the task as complete. Then it will save the changes to the database and then redirect to the index view. Similarly, goes with the delete also. This view deletes a specific task. Similar to this complete underscore task view, it retrieves the task or raises an error of 404. This slide indicates that it will retrieve the task or it will raise an error of 404. Then it deletes the task from the database and redirect the user back to the index view after deletion. That is the main fundamental thing it is going here. And what are the logic we are writing in index.html? In index.html, first we are using this all this styling, that is for the making the page responsive. We are taking the bootstrap and front awesome. You can get it from the bootstrap documentation only. Why we are using bootstrap? Because it provides a responsive design and a preview css component. Why you are using front awesome? Because it is used to include icons like the check and the trash icon in the action button. And css styling we are doing for internally. Okay, and we are using this hover. You can see here we are hover for slide scaling and shadowing enhancement to improve the UI feedback. And when the task gets completed, we are using a green background with line through text to visually indicate that the task is done. Inside this, when it is coming here, that is when it get the method as post, then inside this form we are required to prevent CRF token, that is cross-site request forgery. This input field allows user to enter the new task, and submit button here allows that it adds the task with an icon from front awesome. You can see here we are using the submit button. Then we will now display the task list. So for that, what we are doing, we are using a for loop here. So what it will do, it will iterate over the tasks, and here we are using a for loop dot counter so that we can get the task number, and inside this we are using the anchor tag for getting the URL. That is, first it will iterate over the list of tasks which are passed from the Django view. That is, it will list over the tasks which are passed from the Django view. That is what we are getting from this views.py file. That is the tasks we are getting. Then it will come here and it will check, that is if task.status complete. It tells that if the task status is true, the task will get the complete class, then it will go to the complete class. Applying the special styling, that is the green background with line through text. Then you are using the task number, which uses a for loop dot counter to display the task order. And here we are using the action button. The complete button marks the task as complete, and delete button marks the task as, that means it gets removed from the list. And then we are displaying a fallback message when no tasks are available. Here's the for loop, and if there is no tasks available, add some tasks, this message will be shown. This is a fallback message. And here the for loop ends. And we are using the script, Bootstrap JavaScript, which enables the Bootstrap interactive component. So this is the main fundamental thing it is going here. So if in a gist, if I tell, that is here the form is used for adding the tasks. Task list display with action button, that is complete or delete. And we are using hover for smooth UI enhancement and Bootstrap for responsive design. And if we just in a simple way, that is if I tell what is the main logic it is going here. So I have explained the code literally, and now I will tell that what is happening right now. First, when the user accesses a web page, that is when the user type the local host colon 8000, then it will send a request to the Django server, that is usually a GET request. It will come here, it will map with this route parameter, it will check the views.index function, then it will come to the views file. Upon coming to the views file, it will go this if L block will not be executed because the form is empty, there is no task has been added. So it will come here, that is the index view, it will retrieve all the tasks from the database and it will render them into the template, that is it will come here. So when the user adds a new task, you can see the code. So when the user add the new task, the form method gets equals to post. It will take the necessary task. Then the user submits a form. Then post requests will get from the web page. It will come to this views.py file. It will check whether this request.method equals to post and the form is valid. Then the rest of the line will be executed. That is, the new task will be added to the database and then it will redirect again to the index view. That is validate and save the task to the database and then again it will reload showing the new task. When the user marks a task complete, that is upon clicking the complete button, let me show you. Suppose the user has given a task, suppose breakfast, submit button is added. So again the view function it will come. Again the user is giving another task, suppose driving. Again another task, suppose team meeting. So first when the user is clicking on this complete one, it will send a GET request with the task ID to the complete task view. That is, it will come to urls.py, it will get this and it will come to the respective function which is written defined in views.py file. That is, it will execute this function. The task status is updated in the database and the user is redirected again to the home page. Similarly, when the user deletes a task, suppose the user deletes a task, let me delete this second one only. So upon clicking this delete button, it will send a get request with the task ID to the delete task view. That is, it will come to this URL first, it will get mapped and then it will come to the respective function which is defined in views.py file. Then it will execute this block of code because it's taking the request is holding the data and the task ID that is to be get deleted. So it will, upon getting the get request with the task ID, it will go to this delete task. The view deletes the task from the database and reloads the page. So this is the whole logic going behind. I hope you have understood and go through the video once and hope it will help in creating this to-do list app. Have a great day and stay tuned to the next video. Bye bye.